My name is Turtle, and I'm in the stores. This crystal thing right here. Maybe drinking a little bit of crystal water. Yeah. Thank you very much. Hello, YouTube. This is Tammy Pie, and I'm back with another video. I think that how I want this to end up is with me figuring out what are my top 10 collage decks. I have a couple other collage decks that are on my list to be my wish list, as it were. Like, I don't have Telesma, and even though I have had a couple of good opportunities to get it, and I don't have the Voyager, which isn't even very expensive. There's no excuse for me not to have that one, except that, you know, I bring things in pretty slowly, with exception to, you know, like when my friend sends me a gift, or your decluttering is my unboxing situation. So I'm in view of kind of a bunch of the decks that I got from New York in that last box were collage decks. And if I think back, the first one that I really thought of as a collage deck was the Ritual Tarot, even though I probably had several collage decks before that. But Ritual Tarot kind of just opened my eyes up. Okay, this is collage, that's collage, the other one is collage. Touchstone I've had for years and years, it's collage. Tyldwick was the first deck I ever bought myself. It's collage. I've had Moonchild since it was released, and several others. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably do a couple, maybe a few videos, comparing and contrasting, kind of an Olympic situation, or a little bit of Hunger Games, but not necessarily. Just comparing and contrasting and checking out the ways that they are useful, that they're attractive, that they have a place in my practice. And at the end of the series, hopefully we'll find the 10 best collage decks in my collection. So it's a battle royale. It's me picking out a bunch of collage decks and saying, okay, these are all competitors. When I started to do this, I went down my inventory list and I kind of highlighted everything that I thought was at least possibly a collage deck. And some of them, it was more of a reach. Some of them are just, they have a few collaged parts, and I wouldn't necessarily call them collage decks. I think that just kind of comes in today's world of creating this type of art that sometimes you put it through the computer and change it a little, right? But a few decks jumped out at me right away. One of them is this deck, the Picatrix Decans cards. And this one I don't think I'm going to put in the competition. Right now it's the first face of Virgo, where the sun is in Virgo. That's the card for this 10-day period. Yeah, I still got at least a week, maybe a week and a half to go on that. uh, no, or a week. This tarot, Adapt tarot, although it's beautiful, just really gorgeous backs. I love the backs. And some of the cards actually are really, really nice. Really kind of evocative. I don't know if I'm going to include this in the competition because I think this is one that is kind of at the bottom of the decks that I am going to be having in the competition. I do like this knight though. That's kind of cute. But too many of the cards have a little too much white space. And for that reason, even though it's a really beautiful, beautiful deck, I feel like it does fall at the bottom rung. So why make it compete, right? We're just going to let that one go. And then this one, the Crow Tarot and its companion decks. I have 3 other J Cullinane decks. I'm not going to include these. I think they are, as it were, birds of a different feather. And I don't want to. I feel like they would knock out some of the competition just because I like her art. It is very kind of a home team deck for me because she works out of Seattle, and I think I'm going to leave those out. Although, when you have a competition that goes on for days, like the Olympics, or say baseball, the World Series in baseball, sometimes you bring in a ringer, right? Sometimes you bring in a ringer for whatever reason, or something happens that's out of the ordinary that may change things, okay? So I have right over here a big pile of decks. And I think there's between 22 and 25 decks. I'm not sure. I kept adding and subtracting. And this is the bulk of what I consider to be my collage decks, whether they be kind of subtly digitally collaged. Although when I think about it, I don't think any of them is really subtle. Or whether it's in part painting, or whether it is actual hand-cut collage like Ritual Tarot. So I'm going to put the camera face down and let's see how this comes out. Okay, so since I brought up the Olympics, let's go ahead and do kind of an Olympic thing, all right? I'm just going to show you some stuff. Let's start with this deck here. Ancient Ritual Postures, Oracle cards for ritual healing, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so this is this is done, the posture illustrations by Susan Josephson, and I believe Mariah Parker is the creator. And I've actually been using this deck. I've really actually been kind of having a good time with it. So, collage. Multimedia, I'm thinking. Oh, that's another one I don't have, the Zerner Faber. Okay. So Ancient Ritual Postures is a really nice oracle deck, right? And these have been seen ad nauseum on my channel and on many channels. These are the Krans oracles, the Archetypes and Alchemy. I showed this in a video not long ago, the Universal Mind Oracle by Michelle Black. What are their oracles? Most of these are tarot, but there's a couple oracles for sure. Okay. We have Dirt Gems. Something you wouldn't think about, but it is collage. And I think the last oracle, collage oracle I have is the Fallen Angel oracle cards. Okay? And if you disagree, hey, write it down there in the comment section. That's what the comment section is for, right? So, as far as tarot decks, we have Moonchild Tarot, Starchild Tarot, and this is the Akashic edition. Out of the big box from New York, Jumble Dance Tarot, which I've been loving. Goblins and Gardens, which I really wanted and I do really like. These two, Touchstone, which you could tell by the fact that it's a kunadi that I've had it for some time. Crow's Magic, which I've used a little bit, not a whole lot. Okay. The last ones that are still in their boxes. And this is the Stretch Tarot. Really enjoying that. Aquamarine, gorgeous, gorgeous collage work. Tarot of the Zircus Magi. This is one of my early thought decks. The Rosebud Tarot. This is the Lydia Wilhelmina's Monsters, Macabre, and Autumn Scenes. Tiny Sparrow Tarot. Ooh, she's dressed for the Olympics, right? Tyldwick. It's in the bag. You've all seen it. Mystic Masters. Now, this is technically multimedia art, but it's kind of collage too. I mean, tell me if you don't think it is. Tell me if you think we should speak to the judges and have it removed. The Sistine Tarot, which I put in this bag. Isn't that kind of perfect? Yes, yes it is. Okay, the Sacred Bee Tarot. I don't even have to open that. The images are right there on the material. You've all seen this Kelly Bear pouch with the moon and the hair. This has in it Bohemian Gothic and Victorian Romantic. They're collage decks, y'all. They put those things together in the computer. And in this fabulous Baba bag is Ritual Tarot. So those are my contenders. I won't lie, they may or may not be additions to it. But at this point, that's what we've got. So I haven't been too long yet, so maybe we should begin things with a 2-to-1 competition. How about that? Okay, so we have three teams competing. We have two sister oracles competing against a truly giant oracle in my collection, one that I have loved for many, many years, the Fallen Angel oracle cards. And the two sister giants that are fighting against that are the Archetypes and Alchemy. Okay, so let's start with the oracles. And there's Alchemy. There's Archetypes. And here's Fallen Angel. Okay, let's see if I can stretch out a little bit. Hang on. All right, so, well, first thing, since we're here, let's talk about some first impressions on these oracles. Alchemy and Archetypes are both weird shapes. They're weird shapes, and they are, for that reason, hard to shuffle. The Fallen Angel cards, they're a little bit, they're a little bit larger, but still they are the typical rectangular cards, and so are easier to handle as far as that kind of meditative shuffling feeling, right? So with Alchemy, you can kind of shuffle them, but it's not the same, right? And actually they tend to flip around. Their hex shape doesn't stay in one spot. I don't have the itty bitty ones, but that can be an issue, right? And of course, Archetypes is a round deck. Now, I've conditioned this deck quite a bit, so it will kind of shuffle. And it is pretty smooth, but you can see it still has round deck issues, right? So let's give 1 point to Fallen Angels because they're just a better shape. Okay, what's next? All right. In the backs. These are kind of hated backs in the tarot sphere, the tarot community, tarot tubes. People don't like the digitized jewel. These are a little better. I kind of like it feels like a great big old flower that is being looked at through a filter, right? And it's very dark at the edges. I kind of like that. And you can see from my mod that it was fun to match that kind of with the edging. And this, I just did this in different colors to their suits. This is just a beautiful back. It's just really pretty. And it is digital collage, right? So now so should we give them a point for backs? Yeah, let's give them a point for backs. People talk about it all the time. Okay. Now, let's take a look at some of this digital collage. Yeah. All right, hopefully you're not hearing all the stuff that's going on in the other room, and hopefully it doesn't get me tagged for anything, but here we go. So these cards, really kind of unusual digital collage. They are in part photographic, in part obviously from graveyards, but we have added in there some animals. We have a lot of vegetation. There is included in some places language. And then we have the keywords. Now the keywords in this deck, there are several of the keywords that repeat themselves. But just, in my opinion, very beautiful kind of color range was used here. It is kind of a limited palette, more browns and blues and greens and purples. Very, very dark. But that matches the theme perfectly, right? So, very pretty. I kind of love, in Kim Krans' work, the use of color and things that are obviously kind of photographic, along with her line work, and every once in a while little bits that were obviously just very well placed little nuggets of real things. A candle here for Mystical Sister. I also really enjoy her use of symbolism. And I think that this is very much a deck that makes you think, makes you want to learn. And it's, when I was talking about oracles the other day, I was talking about how some oracles will lead you through problems. This is one of those oracles. Now, I'm just going to scoot this over a little bit and go through some of the archetypes, because again, very similar. Every once in a while, a little bit of reality, the line work, some photography, and this is cut out, obviously, along with the watercolor. Oh, I love this. And she does a really good job of describing the archetype that she's trying to present through imagery, which is something that as card readers, many of us really need to get that hit, to get that instant gratification hit, right? And I think Kim Krans does that magnificently. So with the with the theme and usefulness, what I would call approachability, I'm going to give it to the Kim Krans decks, and because there are two of them, I'm going to give them 2 points. Okay, so one last thing I'm going to do, and this is going to be for the last point, and funnily enough, it's going to be a tiebreaker. So what I'm going to do is pull a card for each of the 3 decks and see what detail jumps out at me, and if I can just read that detail right then and there. Okay, so I've hand shuffled this a bit. We're gonna draw the Fallen Angel card, and we have Aim, which is upheaval. It's got a little fire in it. Do a little more shuffling with the archetypes. Oh, got a jumper. I like that. Oh, very nice. So here we have Kairos, and Kairos is one of the kind of odd, that last suit, the kind of suit from the invisible outside world. And fortunately, I have the writing here. So auspicious, mythic time, synchronicity, align, ease. A current, as in the current of a river, or the current in the ocean. Okay, so we're gonna do the same with this one. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. And I'll either get a jumper or I'll decide to stop. And I don't want to go too long, but I also don't want to stop it until I'm ready. Okay. Oh, nice. Saccharum, sugar. Okay. And this one too has the writing I put in the beginning: stickiness, elixir, pleasure, sacred sweetness. Oh, yum. Okay, this is actually a little bit difficult because it feels like all of these cards are very descriptive. They actually all give me a little something, this upheaval. So say the question is, will my boyfriend come back to me, right? That's the question for today. And perhaps he will, but everything's going to be a mess, right? There's a lot that has been happening that nobody can let go of. Look at that snake. Ooh, that detail just jumped out at me. Interesting. Okay. And then same question here. Will my boyfriend come back to me? And this is kind of more talking about, look, what is supposed to happen is going to happen. You truly know what this is going to do with your life, and you need to understand that what is supposed to happen is going to happen. Auspicious jumps out at me, and the star leading me to believe that you're hoping this will work because it's supposed to work. Okay. And then same question, will my boyfriend come back to me? And this is saccharum, sugar. Oh, so it gives you pleasure. It's sticky. It's a treat. It's delightful. You want him back because he makes you feel so good. Like he's just a treat. But addiction stands out at me. And the fact that this is going to be hard to hold on to. Okay? There's a lot of sparkly, beautiful deliciousness, but it takes a certain kind of container to be able to hold that kind of big, sweet energy. So he might be coming back, but you might want to rethink it. So I would say all three of these cards kind of answer the question. But honestly, I kind of like this answer the best. Okay? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a three-way tie. And these decks, in the end, all three of them had something to give. All three of them came in well, and all three of them did pretty good. We're going to do it like the Olympics in that all these decks keep their points so that at the end I can add up all these points and make a decision. Okay, so all three of those decks went back to the resting place, the Olympic Village. That's a big cardboard box, actually. And they're getting some rest, and they're going to eat some treats until it's time for them to compete again. So we're still going to do 2 to 1. And this is going to be some tough duty, folks. This is 3 decks in my collection that are all giants at some point, right? Starchild has been published in, I don't know how many different, like 3 or 4 different styles. And this artist has also done work for numerous other projects. She has done about, I don't know, 10 Oracle decks. I'm pretty sure she's illustrated a bunch of books. Danielle, Noel. Wow. Tyldwick, this is the original. This is the first edition. And this Moonchild is a first edition. This Starchild is the Acashic. Okay? So let's start the way we started the other one, which is kind of first impressions. And that is, for one thing, this cardstock is great. It shuffles great. I have always loved the shuffle. I've always loved the very shiny gild that these have. Even though it is kind of taking a beating because I riffle. Okay. This one, really cool backs on Moonchild. This is one of the early ones that had this kind of brushed gold edging, which we all so appreciate. But this is a bitch to shuffle. Since I hurt my hand, I don't riffle these great big ones like I once did. So it's kind of hard, right? Now, once again, these are sister decks. Starchild and Moonchild. This one is a little bit mellower paper. These are really heavy cardstock. This one's kind of mellower. It does have, again, the kind of brushed gold edges. Very mellow, very light. And this one, I can shuffle a little easier. The cards are a little smaller. The cardstock is a little lighter, but it's still difficult. It isn't easy. So for that, we're going to give Tyldwick 1 point. All right, now let's look at great backs, by the way. I do like the backs on the original the best of all of these, but the fronts too. I mean, but honestly, the first edition is the best one. So love what he did with the borders, how the borders kind of tell the tale of what suit you're looking for. I love what he did with the quartz. Most of the majors are really interesting. But this deck super shines in the minors. 8 of Swords. The Sun card. Look how bright and open that is. It looks like a chariot being pulled by 2, 3, 8 horses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 horses at least. This card, standout card. Look at the little detail of the Marseille in the Swords cards. Queen of Staves in the garden. Stunning. 6 of Swords, a map and the globe. Oh, so cool. Ace of Swords. 6 of Wands. So looks like a Parthenon kind of. Speaking of Olympics. Okay, so as far as approachability, although these images can be difficult for some to relate to, I relate to them very well, and this is all about me. Okay, so let's, hang on just a second. Okay, so let's look at them from the front. Again, the backs are just beautiful on both decks. They're both reversible. As is the Tyldwick. We have the Tower and the 7 of Wands. So in this tower, we have lightning, we have a tall building, and we have a girl sitting at the bottom here. Almost a little 5 of Pentacles, a little bit, right? But there's bricks down here. So it's possible this is coming apart finally. It looks also like we have like a sun and the moon thing going on here. So it's kind of apocalyptic. Definitely, as is a lot of this deck, kind of spacey, right? This person could be on another planet or in an alternate reality, right? I find the Moonchild to be much more earthy. This looks like one of the pyramids of Giza. There is 7 of Wands with an eclipse right there. This person is at the top of the mountain, kind of standing in that stance that we're used to seeing, right? And then we have the wands that she added in here. So interesting detail to be seen here. If you asked 8 out of 10 readers, they would all say that these are easier to read than the Tyldwick, particularly when you first get them. Okay? So Ace of Wands, Ace of Wands. What's so hard about that? Easy peasy. Lovely cards, lovely color. I happen to like the pink and the blue. And this Queen of Swords, one of the complaints you hear about this one is how the court cards are kind of young. But I disagree. She looks a little Joan of Arc to me. I kind of dig her. And here we are. This is an extra card, the Starseed. These decks both have extra cards. I tend to leave them in just because they're beautiful. And there you go. So Starseed, we got finally we can see some of this. One of the details that she put in these collage photos is the sacred geometry. So interesting. Starseed, if you know, you know, and that's all I'm going to say about that, because I'm not entirely on board with the whole Starseed thing, but that's just me. I mean, I'll journey with you and all that, but And then this Eight of Swords. And I tend to feel like the Moonchild is a much earthier, on the whole, deck, right? So she's in the middle of something that she can't stop until she's done, right? Oh, love this Fool. I've always loved this Fool, mostly because I love this dog. But also I really like the color choices made. And the interesting idea, she's got butterflies going on, of her kind of being able to just kind of hop down. It looks like she'll be fine, doesn't it? This Six of Wands. Now here we run into something that people find to be kind of a problem with the Danielle Noel artwork, and that is she does this a lot, which is she mirrors the image. And sometimes people don't like that. I personally do. I like that. Okay. Last one. Let's look at, oh, this is good because beautiful card. The High Priestess. We have two pillars, although they are not different colors. She's got a throne and the moon behind her. There's kind of this interesting little thing happening here. We have a tiger, which is cool. Tigers tend to hide in the wild. They tend to like to be like invisible. That's their thing. And this Five of Wands, which is, I have seen several people say that they did not like this card. I, on the other hand, really do like this card. For some reason, I feel like this kind of, it feels a little like the Stargate. It looks like the rings of Saturn. This kind of has that interesting shape going on. And I like the idea of kind of these women being a little like clones of one another and kind of doing this kind of back and forth thing. I don't know how Five of Wands it is, but I really love these images. All right, so I am giving Starchild and Moonchild that one, just by a hair, only because to me, you very quickly can see what they are trying to say, okay? And very easy to pick out a detail or two that you can kind of hang on to. And of course, because they are two decks, they get 2 points for that. So we're going to do the same last contest as we did with the oracles. And that is, I'm going to shuffle a little bit. Not too much, just a little bit. And we're going to choose a card from each deck. And we're going to ask it that same question, right? Oh, it's a hole. We're going to ask it, will my boyfriend come back? Will my boyfriend come back? Okay. That's a good one. Okay. Oh, Moonchild jumped right out. All right. Okay. Okay. Starchild. Will my boyfriend come back? We're going to get a jumper from you. No, I'll take this one. Oh, Hierophant. Okay, so honestly, this is again super a three-way tie, and most likely because, well, let's just talk through it, okay? So here, will my boyfriend come back? He just wanted to fool around for a little while. He wanted to get out on his own for a little bit, be by himself, see what it would be like to do something different. Okay, so just wait for him to come around to realizing that what he left is what he wants, or just let him go. Honestly, let him go do his thing, because he really wanted to go do his thing. Okay, so that's Tyldwick. Here we have, when my boyfriend come back from Starchild, we have the Hierophant. Your boyfriend's trying to teach you a lesson. I don't know if he's coming back or not, but he's giving you a problem to work out and waiting for you to come back to him with the answer. So if that works for you, then yeah, all you got to do is go to him and say, I understand, I won't do this again, I learned my lesson. And yeah, sure, he'll be back. And then will my boyfriend come back from the Moonchild? Knight of Pentacles. Yeah. Don't hold your breath. He kind of intends to come back, but wherever he is and whatever he's doing, he's into it, and he's thinking of other things. He's probably not that into you, but if you want to wait around, once again, he may eventually show back up. So very interesting. All right, so I saved the hardest for last. Okay, this is Journey of the Sacred Bee. Oh wait, hang on. So before I introduce you to the next bunch, I decided to give that actually to Moonchild and Starchild. And the reason for that is because I felt like their cards were very, very clear and approachable. Okay? So in that contest, much to my surprise, Starchild and Moonchild kind of took it away from Tyldwick. But okay. So next we're going to have, and again, Battle Royale, 2-1. We've got two sister decks fighting against just a champion deck. And the champion deck is this one by Kelly Burton, I think. I think that's her name. I have these in bags, so it's kind of hard unless, yeah. Anyway, and then we have the Victorian Romantic, and the sister deck, Bohemian Gothic. Okay? So this is like 2nd edition, 3rd edition, I don't know. Anyway, Baba Studios, 2 super famous decks, right? People love these decks. And this deck, which is also incredibly beloved. And, oh, look at that. Delicious backs with this really cool bee, totally reversible, also delicious backs. Great, super shuffleable cardstock, nice and thin with like that cool core in it, totally reversible. I love these Baba backs, but man, this is good too, right? So if this was, say, a baseball game. Oh, okay, so we also have this incredibly beautiful teal gilding. The cardstock shuffles really well. Extra points because it's thought-based. All right, so let's see what happens when we shuffle BOGO. And I'm not gonna lie, BOGO is one of my favorite decks in the world. And the mini I have, one of my favorite shuffles, honestly. So because there's no gilt on this, it actually really shuffles better. Although this cardstock shuffles beautifully. It's the no gilding that kind of throws these two ahead. So I'm giving them the point, and they get 2 points because they are 2 decks. Okay, so let's look at some details. All right. Look at that priestess. Wow. What a stunner. Am I right? Hang on just a second. That is a gorgeous card. Goes with my little table too. Wow. Wow. Just okay, here we have 6 of Sword. Earn success. Now usually in thought that's science, right? Of Wands, victory. 14, alchemy instead of art. Oh, this is some of my favorite cards in this whole deck are her court cards. Look at this, Knight of Swords. Wow. The Magician, right? Just gorgeous, 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 gorgeous imagery. And very obviously a collage deck, right? Okay, hang on. So honestly, it's going to be hard for this team of decks to beat that type of beauty. However, these decks are also incredibly beautiful. Now, you wouldn't realize, unless you had read the books, Victorian Romantic, although it is reused artwork, it is cultivated from masters, she also uses some digital collage. This head here, I'm certain was not there. She adds in backgrounds. She gives them things that they weren't holding in the original artworks. I think BOGO is more obviously collaged because you don't see these you don't see these images anywhere else. So they use models, they used pictures of old skeletons and cool stuff. But look at that pretty thing. And the hermits. I mean, wow, right? Stunners. And I mean, obviously the hermit, obviously the moon. We have the wolf. Ooh, we got her with her kind of cool moony hat. We've got the water down there. We've got a pathway going through 2 towers in the background there. Okay. Here we have the 10 of Swords. Oh, man. The other day I was doing a reading. I got the 10 of Swords. It was like so... Yeah, I mean, the person was just like, oh, my God, yes, that's exactly how I feel. It wasn't this deck, but still. Okay. So... Again, here we go. You can barely tell that this has been changed terribly much. However, you know, she put in all these pots because there's a bunch of them, right? It's the same pot. And this image has been collaged. And again, the BOGO one is more obvious. And temperance. Okay, so amazing, beautiful images. Wow. Just wow. The world is one of the prettiest. And the Hanged Man in Victorian Romantic, kind of disturbing, actually. But you know, sometimes you need a disturbing image in a reading, okay? So I'm going to be honest. I got to give it to Sacred Bee for this. Even though BOGO has some of the most beautiful cards that I've ever seen in my tarot collection. Ever. That Five of Cups, y'all. And Victorian Romantic is notoriously gorgeous. Like, it's one of the popular girl decks, right? I'm going to give it to Kelly Burton's Sacred Bee. Now, what happens when I say, is my boyfriend coming back? Is my boyfriend coming back? Let's see what Sacred Bee says. The Sun. Let's see what Victorian Romantic says. Is my boyfriend coming back? Three of Swords. Oh, opposing forces, kind of, right? Okay. Let's ask BOGO. Hey, BOGO. Is my boyfriend coming back? I just need to know. Is my boyfriend coming back? Oop, there we go. All right. Two of Pentacles. Okay, so. All right, let's look at it. So, this is the truth. And the truth of the matter is, you should know. You should know. You should understand. You should get it. Because, well, if this was meant to be, you wouldn't be asking. You just have to face the truth. Okay? Vikram? No, he's not coming back. Just lesson learned. Get a dog. And no, your boyfriend's not coming back. BOGO? Is my boyfriend coming back? Well, he's trying to balance you and another person. So just as long as you don't mind your boyfriend seeing another chicken, hey, he's there for you too. Both of you. So that one, to me, very obviously went to BOGO and Vikram. Okay? So, in this, the Fallen Angels, Alchemy, and Archetypes was a three-way tie. The Tyldwick versus Starchild and Moonchild. Starchild and Moonchild beat the heck out of the Tyldwick. The Journey of the Sacred Bee battling against the two Baba giants, Bohemian Gothic and Victorian Romantic. BOGO and Vikram took it away. Sacred Bee only got 1 point out of that, and that was for beautiful imagery. And with that, I'm going to let you go for this episode of, what am I going to call this? The Collage Decks Battle Royale. There you go. And thank you for coming.